If you have ever tried NoFap, you probably know how ridiculously hard it can be. Nearly everyone who does NoFap struggles with relapsing. And we relapse way more often than we'd like to, right? But in this video, I'm going to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. It can get easier. There are people, including myself, who used to think that doing NoFap was really hard, but now have got to a point where it's actually quite easy. Now, I'm not trying to claim that I'm perfect, that I will never relapse again, but I can guarantee you that it has definitely gotten a lot easier for me. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about why NoFap is so hard and what you can do yourself to also make it easier. So let's start by talking about why NoFap is so hard. And this one starts to make a lot of sense when we look at it from an evolutionary perspective. Because from the perspective of evolution, spreading our DNA is like the most important thing we can possibly do. Now yes, eating food, seeking shelter, socializing, etc. These things are also important. But if you think about it, we kind of do these things so that in the end, we get to spread our DNA, right? Spreading our DNA is like the evolutionary end goal, which explains why our urges to do this thing are so ridiculously strong. And this also creates the problem. Because in our modern lifestyles, we don't exactly use our urges in the way that nature intended us to do. Because we don't spread our DNA in real women, but we tend to spread our DNA like all over our keyboard. And this way of spreading our DNA isn't exactly the most important thing in our life. In fact, because of the way that pornography influences our brain, this is usually a very destructive habit. But our brain doesn't really know the difference between the real thing and this modern destructive habit. And so it keeps telling us that this is the most important thing in the world, which is why NoFap is so ridiculously hard. Like in some way, we are competing against our strongest, deepest rooted biological instinct that we have. But don't get discouraged, because this does not mean that the battle is lost. We can win. You see, our subconscious mind, our instincts, these are not the only thing that control our lives. We have a conscious mind as well. We are an intelligent, rational human being, and so that is the first thing we need to do. We need to start acting like one. We need to put our conscious mind over the subconscious mind. And this is the first thing you need to do to make NoFap easier. You need to realize what these instincts are. You need to realize that they are instincts and that instincts are just impulses, right? Having an impulse does not necessarily mean that we have to act upon these impulses. Instincts do not define who we are. We can control instincts. We are more than our instincts. We are rational, intelligent human beings, and we can choose what we do in our lives. Now, the next thing I think can make NoFap a lot easier is to set goals. You need to have a reason why you are doing NoFap. Yes, doing NoFap for the sake of just becoming a better version of yourself sounds great. I'm a big fan of becoming a better version of yourself. But if you don't have a purpose in life, if you don't have a reason why you are becoming a better version of yourself, it does not really tend to work in the long term, right? You need to have a reason to do something to get enough motivation to actually do it. So you need to figure out what you want out of life, which isn't easy. You actually need to do some deep thinking for that. But you need to do it. You need to have goals, what you want out of life. Now, I also think it really helps to set goals for NoFap itself, like a number of days that you are aiming for. And here a lot of people might say, well, isn't it better if you don't do this, if you don't count the days, but you just do it as a lifestyle, right? And I think I agree with that idea. Yes, it would probably be ideal if you get to the point where NoFap is a lifestyle and it comes natural to you, and you don't have to worry about relapsing or counting days. But that is also the thing, right? It is a bit of an ideal situation, and most people are not quite at that point yet. And so if you are not at that point where NoFap comes natural to you, then setting goals will help, right? Because again, a goal gives you motivation. Motivation comes from having a reason to do something, and setting a goal is like reminding yourself of that reason. It is solidifying yourself of the reason why you are doing something. And so this will help. It will give you motivation. It will give you something to hold on to. And it will give you a good feeling about yourself when you are like seeing yourself working towards your goal every day. So set a goal, set a certain amount of days that you are aiming for, and make sure that you have goals in life, because this will make a huge difference. So then there's one more thing that I think makes a huge difference, and that is to think about your goals all the time. And I've talked about this one in my previous video as well. Your mindset, what you believe yourself to be, is at the very core of how you act in life. And most people on NoFap think the exact wrong way, right? They tell themselves all the time that they are someone who is addicted to pornography. They tell themselves all the time that they cannot control their urges, that they need to avoid watching pictures of girls, and that they need to install these website blockers because otherwise they cannot control their urges. And as a result of this, because they keep telling themselves these kind of things all day long, their subconscious mind starts to believe it. Their subconscious mind starts to believe that they are a weak person who is addicted to fapping, who cannot control their urges. This becomes their identity. And obviously, how the hell can you ever have success doing NoFap if you believe that you are someone who does not have success doing NoFap? Right? You cannot have success at anything in life until you actually start to believe that you can do it. So you need to shift your mindset. You need to start thinking in a more positive way. So instead of telling yourself that you are addicted to fapping and that you are not allowed to fap, tell yourself that you choose not to fap, right? Because you know deep down inside that you feel better when you do not fap compared to when you do fap. Fapping is not something you are not allowed to do, but fapping is something you do not want to do. You choose not to do it. Shift your mindset like that. Change the way that you think and start believing in yourself. And I think that if you do these things, that NoFap can definitely become a lot easier. Now, this is not a miracle cure. Nothing is a miracle cure. It's not like once you know these things, now suddenly it goes from being very hard to being very easy. No, you still need to work hard on these things. But if you do take the effort to actually work on these things and practice these skills, then I can guarantee you NoFap will get easier. It definitely worked for me. So if you guys like this video, click the like button, leave a comment below, click the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to see more videos like this, because I'm going to create a lot more videos. And if you like this video, well, you're probably going to like those videos as well. So click the buttons. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.